What's up, everybody? I'm Ethan. Fight me on this.
I'm Jill at CoachJill.April.
And welcome back to the podcast. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha!
The pod.
It's the cast of podding. Anyways, welcome back. And it's great to be here. It's great to have you with us. Another week, another set of questions, another wicked conversation. And a couple of announcements, actually. And now that I think about it. Should we start with announcements or do Hards and Joys first?
We can start with announcements.
An announcement.
We are launching a subscription. But
Yes.
Before we do that, we would like to know what you guys want to see. So it could be anything. It could be bonus content. It could be like spicy episodes, specific episodes. It could be a conversation with us. I think we had a really cool idea brought to us of like giving you guys option to sit down virtually or not if you're in the area with us and be able to chat about what's coming up for you in your life. So something that isn't recorded, something that isn't going to go out to everyone. So if you're more of a private person or you have some more personal questions that you're like, I want Ethan and Jill to help me work through this, but I don't want to be on the podcast, launching some sort of offer for you guys to be able to have coffee with us and sit down and be like, here's my struggles, here's my problems. Help.
Yeah, still in a slightly group forum. If in asking you guys what you want to see, if you want it to be a private offering of like a chance to actually sit with Jill and us, we will take that in consideration. But our idea is to sit in a more private, intimate group in an online forum, have coffee, have a joint, and just ask the more direct questions that you don't want to have public. Whether that means a 10-person group limit, whatever it is, we'll host multiple.
Something that wouldn't be recorded.
Yeah, something that would just be just a conversation, as if you're grabbing coffee with us. We want to be able to hold space for as many people as possible. That's the whole point of the podcast. So to be able to do it in a setting that is just a conversation is kind of where we're headed, and we'd like to offer that to you guys as an opportunity to be in the private side of what we do.
Yeah, and we love doing the podcast. We love having it accessible to everyone, but at the same time, as everyone knows, we got bills to pay. So if you're looking for more of like the coaching and advice on lifestyle, making it at a cost that is still very accessible, but
I think right now you can even we tested it live as I wanted to make sure that it was going to go well and to offer you guys a chance to sit with us sometime here in December. We haven't picked the date yet. But I think it's $5 a month. Still less than most of the coffees that are out there. It's still just a chance to get early access to an episode. Get a chance to sit with Jill and I once a month and just be in community with people that have questions, are going to have very similar questions than you that maybe just don't feel comfortable asking them in a place that's so publicly open and shared. So here we come into a more intimate setting together, is still building community, still again staying true to who we are as creators, as visionaries, as people with missions of our own.
The monthly subscription would get you access to bonus content as well as access to like the coffee chats. Whereas if you just want access to the coffee chats, that could be something different as well. So what I'm going to do to make it nice and easy is I'm going to make a cute little Google form that kind of gives you a chance to give us feedback of like, hey, here's what I would like to see. Here's what I think is cool. Here's what I think is not so cool. And like what you would be willing to pay, what you are wanting to see, all that kind of stuff. So it will be linked in the show notes. We will post it on our Instagram as well. But if you could take a moment to fill that out and let us know what you're liking, what you want to see, and what kind of feels good on your end, that would be greatly appreciated.
Absolutely fantastic. And on the backside of that, as we get into our show, you know what time it is. It is time for our hards and joys. Sorry.
My hard is still on the communication and how that differs between people, but like more specifically for me, it's struggling to communicate and struggling to see eye to eye with people that have years on me.
And for the caveat before she says it, age is just a number, but there comes a level of genuine maturity that comes with some extra years.
Yeah, and I really struggle. I'm 27, if you didn't know, now you know. And I have always felt older than I am. I've always, I would say, acted older than I am. And I've been trying to shift to the people I interact with to be older. And that was an intentional thing I did a while ago just because I wasn't finding I related with people my age a lot. We're not really up to the same things
I'm
even
listening,
now.
But you keep going.
But just like hit a point of frustration this week with how is somebody 10 plus years older than me not getting it, not able to communicate, just like not be able to do the thing. So Ethan got a firsthand witness to the frustration, as he typically does. I think that's about it. Just like a point of it can't possibly be this hard, and a point of selfishly, like if I've figured it out at 27, why can't people figure it out at 37, 47, whatever? And it's been like a weird thing in this life, and always for me, being as young as I am and feeling like I do have quite a few things figured out, and then hitting those roadblocks with people that I think should have it more figured out than me, and just being like, how? How do we not get it? How do we not understand?
And the same things have been said multiple times, different ways, and it's like a decision not to understand. So it's not just the fact that it's like, are people just like not meeting your standards? Like, no, they're not even trying to communicate appropriately.
Yeah, and I do something I will probably always do is like the people pleaser in me defaults to I'm the problem, and like I'll adjust me so that we get along. So to combat that, I usually have to outsource in some way of being like, am I the crazy person here? And once I get that confirmation of like, no, you're good, like keep fighting the fight. Because like I'm not, sometimes I'm the problem, but like,
yeah,
that confirmation of like, no wait, shit. Am I the crazy person here?
No, well, no, no, not here.
Yeah. So having that like outsourced confirmation and like relaying it, I don't give all details to my life to everybody, but just like relaying pieces to be like, no, I'm not the crazy person here, right? Like this is a thing. But yeah, just that frustration of like having moments of, am I going to find people that are cool and people that get it? And I will, but as everybody knows in the dating world and
in any walk of life,
peopling is just like, am I ever going to find people that get it?
And get me. Like, not just it, because people get it all the time and they still might not get you. And I think Jill, at least watching it, that's more like people in this life get it. But it sure fuck feels like they don't when things like this happen, but they just don't get Jill. And like I know what that feels like over here is trying to find people that do get me, choose to understand me, and obviously Jill's one of them. Lots of you guys out there understanding pieces of me and who I am, but the people I keep closest, like they really do get me. They get how to handle with care, how to handle with aggression, how to handle as is. It's a part of finding your tribe, but it is arduous work sometimes to navigate and sift through the fact that other people have their shit.
Yeah, and sometimes it just feels like, cool, another person. And I told Ethan this, like, I'm like, sometimes it's exhausting, like having to cut ties with people, because you know it makes no sense to continue on any form of relationship. But yeah, it's just never that fun to be the person that's like, and this isn't gonna work again, bye.
Yeah, and I think to couple onto Jill's hard, not as my own, but as like it's been tough to see it happen this way for Jill, just over and over with the lack of communication from other people about Jill, to Jill, for Jill, with Jill, because of Jill, all the things, to just have it land the way it is. Because as you try to navigate and sift your own growth and try to go to do the thing with people, it's tough to be met with things that feel familiar that aren't actually your problem. So when you see your people go through shit, it's just frustrating to see it happen in a place where we're in communities that profess to be caring, supporting, loving, welcoming, all the things, and lots of these spaces are just like every other space we're used to. There's still people in it.
Yeah. It's fine. I will find cool people eventually, and like that is always my first thought back is like, it's fine, we're closer to finding people that actually do get it, but yeah, always is less than fun in the moment.
Yeah.
What's your heart?
My hard is the upcoming time of year, with the holiday season right around the corner, the insanity of tomorrow being Black Friday, the week, and the way it feels with consumerism and as it is. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox, so you guys know how hard it is out here as is. But this time of year of, for some reason, needing to spend money to prove you love people is wild in my mind. So yeah, just that. But the last couple of conversations I've had with people just about what's upcoming has just been it's been tough to have to say I hate this time of year. It's everybody loves it, and that's a generalization. Not everybody does, but like some people do, and it's fucking wonderful. But it also is like it's one of the things like I wish I did in those moments. I wish I had a different experience of it. Yeah, that's just what's hard. It's hard to feel like a Scrooge, to feel like a Grinch. I love the Grinch though. I do. I've already watched all three of them.
Yeah, he's cool.
Love a Grinch. I understand the Grinch. There's probably some therapy talk in there, for sure.
Yeah, I also think he is like the other side of the holidays, and that's why like whatever Scrooge the Grinch, people relate to that because they're like, oh my god, I'm not the only one that's like, I don't get it. What are we doing?
Yeah, like even the generalization of the Grinch, just like having people fuck up the season for him. Like, yeah, yeah, that's fair. It's not that I don't like Christmas and I don't like people, and that's just a hard place to be. For I love you guys for as much work as I do with and for people. Like it's tough to be in this line of work. It's tough to be covered in the skin I am. It's tough to do a lot of things. So just sitting in that and knowing that I'm about to be in that space, yeah, just ways. It's just this daunting thing in the back of my mind. For those of you that don't know, right after Christmas comes the literal toughest time of year for me. Some people don't understand the dates when it comes to depression and trauma and coupling and everything else. But the CPTSD is a real fun bit of fuckery with dates for me, and anniversaries and things like that. And so I'll get into that in another episode. It's coming up to a time of year that I just hate. So it's back to back uncomfortable seasons, and we make it through. I'm 34. I've done this many times. It doesn't make it any less hard, and every year it gets harder for some reason or another. Because you have to grow and heal, because that's how it works. Once you do the thing, you level up and you get better at it, and it's always a thing. And I know that's why who I am. But like it fucking
the shitty part
hurts
about
every time.
Healing and growing is you have to keep doing it.
Oh yeah, if anybody said that you can heal without suffering, they're fucking lying to you.
Ignorance is bliss.
Goddamn lies.
Ignorance is bliss is like the truest statement in this world. I'm not going to go on a tangent. But
no, not this time.
No, I don't think so. I just like to be ignorant. Sometimes I'm just like, must be nice in your brain over there.
Yeah,
couldn't be me, but like, anywho.
I love you. Yeah, we both feel some kind of way about it, and it's just because like the cognitive dissonance is wild. Mm-hmm. It's like it's just this willful, wanton lean to the indoctrination, lean to the I don't want to see, is crazy. The problem with seeing, tangent. We'll see if this stays in. The problem with seeing is you can't unsee. This is the problem with knowledge. This is something I've talked about a few times in the last couple of years. Is that the problem with having knowledge is you have it, and the problem with like real knowledge, like the knowledge that does stuff to change the world, is it hurts. You bleed for it usually. You have to suffer to gain knowledge. It's why I do the work that I do. It's why I talk freely as I can, because I know that I've already suffered. As much as my life has fucking been horror, and I'm not going to trauma bond with all of you, but like, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies.
And we say it to people all the time, like, the problem with knowing is you can't unknow. It's whether you learn a piece about your family or yourself or whatever, like, you now have to deal with that.
Like, it's one of those things, like, ignorance is bliss is this conversation we're having right now, like, you guys all know that I was abused. Cool. It doesn't really mean anything. Like, it does, of course. Some of you are going to get upset with me saying that. Some of you are hearing that for the first time. But, like, it's how I've had to live my life. Oh, fucking okay. But meeting someone in suffering for some people is impossible if they don't fully, apparently they have to live it to get it. You know those people? So I actually have like a string of sentences, like they're called flashbacks. I can sentence them out to you the way that I see them in vivid, full sensory detail. But once I do that, there's no unknowing it. Like the things that I know, the things that I keep from people, the real shit that keeps me up at night, the real shit that hurts, the taste, the sights, the sounds, those things that no kid should know, I still know. And I keep that from people because I know what it does to the body. I know what it does to the mind, to the brain. So I just say I was hurt in hopes that you can meet me in the hurt. When there's nothing that you can unhear, unsee, unlearn from my story in graphic detail. It's the same way everywhere else in life. Once you know, there's no unknowing. You guys have all seen the fucking Matrix. They meant it. Ignorance is bliss. You can't go back.
And if you ignore it, it just gets worse.
And yeah, like if you look at the whole movie, some of you are going, oh shit, watch the movie again. Now that I said that, the whole concept is that you can't go back once you know. So what are you fighting for? That might not even be a tangent. That might just be like the whole premise of the early start of the show.
Yeah. People get greedy with knowing, and then once they know, they're like, oh my God. And it's like, yeah, you should have shut the fuck up sooner.
Yeah, that was part of the problem. And it happens to a lot of people. I've done it to my therapist. They're trained to not buckle. And I've buckled that man multiple times. You can't go back. There's no taking it back. So choose wisely, but be on the right side of history when you choose.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. My parents used to tell me that a lot. And like, you decide what level that applies to, but in the simplest form, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Yeah. And on that note, what is your joy, love? Before a tangent again.
What happened this week? I think my joy, like the other side of the coin of my heart, is still
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
willing to like go meet new people. I went for coffee with a new person, and like we've only been for coffee once. But a year ago me, 2 years ago me, whatever, would have been like, this is fucking stupid and everyone's dumb and I give up. And I would have stayed in this house and been like, I'm not playing this game anymore. It's a big reason why I didn't, when I was monogamous, why I didn't casually date. Because I was like, everyone's fucking dumb anyways. Why am I going on dates? I would just wait to meet someone that made sense. But like, I also recognize you have to leave your house to meet new people. There's lots of people that come into this house, but like I have to leave my house to meet new people. So the fact that like when I was in like active conflict with another human, I was like, nah, I'm still gonna go for coffee and like meet a new person and have a conversation and just see. And I think a big perk of this life is like there's not the expectation behind it, so you can just go for coffee and have a conversation and see. You're not walking into it being like, cool, this person is expecting to marry me. But
still happens. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, but like, so what if it doesn't work out? But it was just nice to like, yeah, old me would have canceled that coffee and been like, I'm not playing this game again. So just being like, yeah, I'm still gonna go. And it was a good conversation, a good chat. Like we'll probably see each other again and just be able to walk out and be like, cool, not everybody sucks. And it's not, for our episode last week, like it's not worth cutting new people off just because somebody showed you they don't get it. What was your joy?
So that drag was very distracting. The slow look was like, well, I need to stop to that to stop.
There's a lot of noises happening in the background of this podcast right now.
I don't think you'll pick it up, but that was very distracting. My joy. This time I'm going to share a small joy because I've noticed it twice this last week. Trying to find my drive again. I mentioned this, I think, in episode 4 or 5. I've been training just to move, but not training with intention. And I'm healthy, just like not where I want to be. And mentally, it's been taxing. But the last week, 2, maybe 3 times now, even in the gym, like I've really pushed my body, like I haven't in a long time. Excuse me. And I forget how much I fucking love it. I forget how much the machine runs at like really aggressively high performance as long as I treat it right. I've been getting my nutrition to a place that I like again. Yesterday hit 300 grams of protein, felt fucking fantastic this morning when I woke up. Just like, yeah, feeling slowly better in my skin. It's still a hard, right now, a really hard process. But taking the victory of understanding that I'm very capable of being in control of this thing as much as seems out of control in my head, in my mental health, and in these things I'm navigating right now. The joy is that it's been fun to navigate moving as I prepare to take time away from the gym, to kind of find a rhythm with the gym that will be able to carry once I'm, in this new career path flow state thing we're working on.
Yeah, it's been cool to watch you do your thing. Again, we've had the conversation a few times, but it's just figuring out, no matter which way you swing it, when you live with people, when you are in relationship with people, like the way you live your life changes, and sometimes it takes that moment of like, yeah, I got to change some things back, and figuring out how you can support people in that. So,
Like Jill and I do so much meal prep together, but my body doesn't actually do well with carbs. Now, it's not like a fitness guy, a health thing. It's not what the fuck I'm saying. Like I really don't. I get super lethargic. I don't want to move nearly as much. This is a common thing. I know Sean has like a nap time
even
after
I'm
carbs.
very similar with that midday. Like my lunches have to be high protein, high fat, because if I go high carb,
Yeah, and like obviously the process, and everybody knows it's a natural process in the body, but it's just like I drag ass, and then it affects how I move my body when I want to work out. So, during my process of losing 100 pounds, like I wasn't eating carbs. I was just eating less and being much more intentional with my protein. It takes up so much time and space that I didn't have a ton of space left for carbs. I didn't eat clean, nothing but fish. I ate fucking drumsticks. There's fat and protein on those. In a good enough ratio that a protein shake completely blows it out. You know what I mean? Like I just figured that out. So I've been doing that a little bit more aggressively and creating some former habits into new ones, adding a different style of shake, and I've been enjoying the process of kind of finding it again and reminding myself that I'm worth loving and worth the time and effort for myself for no other reason. Like I did it for football before. I was in the mindset of I can do the thing. I obviously proved myself I could have lost 100 pounds, but then it was I fixed my knee for football because I could. I've done everything for football up until now. I'm not going back to football again. The last year and a half, 2 years have been just interesting to navigate the headspace of what happens after athletics. I'm sure I'll still play sports in a time, post surgery and shit. But it's just been, a wild time to find it. So now I just get to train to move to feel good. I've been doing yoga. I need to get a few more days a week here. I think I'm averaging 3 right now. I'd like to be 4 or 5. And that's been fun. Like I'm noticing, even if I'm stretching, I'm getting into cool positions. I fucking found a new bind in yoga. The bind when you lock your arms doing stupid shit with the rest of your body. And there's like a lunge position one that I don't know how I did it, but I made I broke the lady beside me. She fell over. She did that every morning with me. It's fun. She's nice. But I went, oh shit, because you know me, I can't. Don't put me in a fucking yoga studio. Oh shit, and she started laughing and then hit the ground, which made me laugh. So then I hit the ground. But it was also neat. I'll share that joy. It was fun to share, and I did a cool thing with someone in yoga in a room that's supposed to be quiet. Even the yoga instructor looked back. She's like, "What did I miss?" I was like, "I did a bind." Yeah, some progress mentally, not necessarily in results, but some mental and then habit creation that's been pretty fun to create again. It's been nice to find it.
We love that. Basically the same thing, but we're gonna chat about red flags and green flags when it comes to dating. So,
what's your red flag about people, baby?
My red flag in general for people, if you didn't know, I date women currently, not super interested in dating men. I'm sure I would have endless red flags if I was talking about dating men. But when it comes to just like dating women in general, I think you said red flag, right? Yeah, my biggest red flag is like uncertainty in yourself and also in what you want. Um, I have a really hard time with walking into a connection or walking into a date and
Sorry.
Any more coughs?
No, I'm gonna have more, but
okay. being like very unsure in what your intent is. And like to me it doesn't actually matter what your intent is, what you're looking for, what you're hoping for. But just I usually ask like, okay, so what's your intent with dating? Like you're on the apps or wherever we met. Is your intent? What are you looking for? And when people are like, I don't know, I'm like, great. So we're just going to figure this out together then. And like things can change and shift. And I don't walk into dates with expectations, but I need you to have some sort of like, ideally, this is what I'm looking for. So for myself, it's like, yeah, I'm looking for female connections. I'm looking for somebody to date. I'm looking for somebody to do things with, to do activities with. Doesn't really need to be a label, but like somebody that can like be my person in some way. I don't do well with the uncertainty of, well, I could do this. I could date, or I could just be casual, or I could, or I could, or I could. So a red flag is always like that uncertainty in what you want and what you're looking for. Because I'm not really like super interested in figuring it out together. Only because if you're like, yeah, my intent is to date, and then we get 3 months down the road and that intent changes, don't love that for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that just like that threw me, and not for any bad reason, but just like I fucking can agree with you wholeheartedly. But that also plays to like my hate of expectations, because I feel like if you're unsure, you have to have expectations. If you don't know, then you have to expect something.
Yeah, and I think that is a big piece of it, is like everybody has some sort of intent, everyone has some sort of expectation, which is fine. We say this a billion times in our life, but you have to tell people what your intent and your expectation is. So like mostly if you're like, yeah, I don't really know what I want, I don't believe you. There's something going on in your brain that's like, ideally it goes this way for us. So if you tell me you don't have an intent and you don't have an expectation, mostly I don't believe you, and also I'm not interested in that changing 84 times in the next 5 weeks.
Fucking fair. Fucking fair. People red flag. This one is a general one and can be controversial at once. It's if you're a cop. Married to a cop, which is funny to say out loud. Have a cop in your family. Like I just want no part of it. I don't want to have a part of the discussion. I'm tired of having the discussion. Tired of talking. I'm tired of people defending a job, a thing, that uniform that comes off of fucking out of respect. Fuck you. It was never done out of respect. It was actually out of the Klan and need to control black people and marginalized people, but you're too fucking stupid to hear any sort of legitimate education on it. But, that's why I feel the way I do. And then it's, come up for me multiple times. People usually out themselves in their profile, which is fine. I say out themselves because I do. I don't give a shit. They say something about being a cop or having someone close in that is one. Or in the first few messages, I recently talked to someone that was a dispatcher, and I was like, oh, you send people to harm people. Cool. That sounds fun. Yeah, I am who I am in this world, and it's a huge point of contention for me, for many, many obvious fucking reasons.
Yeah, and even as a white person in this world, like if you can't see the problem, you're part of the problem. And I think it always comes with an immediate defense. And that
they're a good person is the thing I get all the time. I'm like, no, I actually hate cops, because a cop is a job. A cop is a thing you can take off. The craziest shit is that cops hate me for the color of my skin. Something I can't take off. It's not just like me. This is a proven thing. Turn your fucking news on, grow up, and stop. Oh, but nothing nice. No, I'm good. Give me a second. Just give me a second. I'm finding it.
It's. I always think of that TikTok. It's like, I'm fine. It's taking you that long.
Yes. Yeah. I had someone all the way to coffee tell me many things about how great I am in many weeks of conversing up to showing up to coffee, having a great conversation, going super well. And then I get a message overnight after they asked me a direct question about police officers, which is always like the bait. and I'm going to take it, and you're going to hear my opinion because I know what you're trying to do. But
don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
And they got the answer, and they said, my dad's a cop, and it just won't work. I guess you're all ACAB. And I said, I am. Everybody should be, but you actually enjoyed this person's company up until right then. And that, it sucks for so many reasons. You willfully put on a uniform that goes and does willful wanton harm and destruction to anybody deemed less than. And if you can't see it, just type in Tent City Edmonton, Tent City Vancouver. And if you think that was the right thing to do, please God, get the fuck off of our entire bit of channel. We don't want you here. You're not welcome. This is a safe space for literally anybody and everybody else. Bye. What's red flag? Full stop, turn around in the lifestyle.
I have a couple, but I'm going to go with the language you choose to use around.
You're just going to go after them?
Well, we've talked about this many times.
No, I know. I'm just like, that's what I mean. You're just going to go right after the heart of a problem. Cool. It's been a multiple time problem. I'm here for it, but like, usually you don't swing. I'm adoring you a little bit more in the moment.
How you choose to refer to your other people. And I tend to, I guess that's not really true. No, it's kind of true. Couple of my connections are married. Cool. Great. Do your thing. Love that. Not for me, but you do your thing. But like, be married. But how do we use our language around those partners? Like, I have a connection who's married and no issues. There's been other people that...
No issues how? What's not an issue in this? You're talking about...
Melissa said I can say her name on the podcast.
Hi, Melissa.
So, just like...
Cute. That makes you happy.
She is also married, and I'm not going to tell you personal details, but we have great conversations all the time around like, yeah, my husband is my husband, and that means he has more of a foothold in my life, but it doesn't make him more important as a person. And we talk.
Some of you are hearing that for the first time and going, "I beg your pardon."
Yeah,
but like, I don't know why that's a hard concept.
Like, okay, you have a house with your husband, you have bank accounts with your great. That means they have a fairly large foothold in your life, but they're not more important as a human. Similar to Ethan's not more important than anyone else because I live with him. There might be a day where he needs a little bit more of my space and energy. Cool. There might be days where Melissa needs more time in my space and energy. Cool. On that day, maybe
days, it could be weeks.
Yeah.
And that's the bit for me. I'm gonna just interject that to this side of this conversation is go.
Important.
Like, go. Are you kidding me? Go. Take care of that human that is important to you. Are you anyways,
yeah, importance is based on like situational and the day, hour, minute, whatever. Not just like this human is this important and that human is this important. So when I hear language like primary partner or this person will always be my top priority, I usually have a follow-up of like, okay, so what does that mean if your person who is clearly here in your life doesn't like me? Like, do I get kicked out the club if they wake up one day and they're like, I actually don't like Jill? Does that dictate your feelings on me? Because if the answer is yes, I'm out. I'm not sitting here waiting for the shoe to drop on when your person, husband or not, could be anyone, could be a different
has
partner.
A jealous moment, has an insecure fucking thought, and it ruins a relationship over that. Like, that's
you don't even have to be married to them. It could be literally any other person in your life. But like, if they have say over your relationships and they have say over my presence in your life, then like, I will just go now so that I don't get attached and then get kicked out the club randomly one day because they've decided they don't like me for whatever reason. So how that conversation goes is a big dictator, and honestly just like watching the language around that is big. Yep, I have another one, but I don't have to do two.
We can do as many as we want. Like, this is our show. A heart in the or red flag in the lifestyle.
I'll see what yours is.
Yeah, let's see. I got to think about one because I had one, but it's kind of super for later. Sorry, my brain was like, I didn't have to think of a word. Yeah, my red flag for the lifestyle, and kind of for life, I guess, is self-awareness and like lack thereof. I think is my red flag, is like this in the human being, sure, but like you really gotta do work to do this life at all. Like you have to, holy fuck. It's like you have to be ready to see every bit of ugly you are. And I say that with love. Like I say that with like all the things that you've hidden, all of the character traits, all of the experiences that you've had in life that have made you the person you are to now, all of the things that you've tapped down under where you're like, no, this isn't what I want people to see. Like, it's going to come up. No, and some of you that are listening in this lifestyle go, holy shit, is he ever correct? Because like, fuck. The work you got to do on yourself in this lifestyle, and that sounded naughty, in this lifestyle, in this life is astronomical. Because you like, yes, you are always adding to the madness. You're adding experiences and hidden triggers and landmines over there, and you're putting it all in one space, and you're navigating it with love. And that's, I think, the caveat to doing this successfully. But you have to know that you have fucking landmines.
Yeah, like I never thought I was a jealous person until I was in this lifestyle. Like there was one time early on where I was like in the kitchen and Ethan told me something and it was like silence and he was like, what just happened? I was like, I think I'm jealous. And like pre this life, I was like, I'm not a jealous person. I don't care. Like I very much lived in the mindset of like, if you're gonna cheat on me, cheat on me. Go ahead. I'll figure it out eventually. Why am I stressing about it? So yeah, like somebody who spent 26 years thinking they weren't jealous was like, oh shit.
And sorry, to tangent really quick, you can hear me say life and lifestyle interchangeably. Jill will do the same thing. It's a point of contention right now in our communities as we choose vernacular appropriately. We try to cover both bases as we are both in kink and BDSM and safe kink realms, as well as being polyamorous. This is a life that we live, the lifestyle that we choose to be active in. So when you say they're interchangeable for us, it is the same thing. It is not that way for everybody. Mm-hmm. Just for your information and staying up to date. It's seriously so fucking annoying when people don't do the work. Like I not that I get, no, here we go. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna admit, like I get ruthlessly annoyed in a, not necessarily I'm better than you way, but in like I'm out here, I have to do the work.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean? Like I'm in therapy at least every other week. And if not, like it's every week navigating some bit of what the fuck. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's just a checkup. You know, sometimes I get to go a month without therapy. No, I don't. That's not true. That's like 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks. 3 weeks tops. Like but even like that's the joke. It's like immediately I'm like, it's not right. It's like, no, it's not, because I have to do the work to function. I have to continue to grow. That's fine. That's everybody's technical story. Nobody wants to admit that, but I have to do extra. Cool. But like from that place, like I'm forced to do it. I could not. You're right. It's a choice. But I choose to do this. I choose to do life. So I'm forced to do extra to be decent at it. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do the math for you guys.
And it's such a foreign concept of like not wanting to be better for yourself, for people, for life. Like you're just cool.
I did a fucking handstand off the wall the other day into a press that I've been working on for months now, and I almost peed. I was so happy.
Yeah, like you're good just being a mediocre human. That's okay.
But like, yeah, that's also a frustration. Like I don't want to be around people like that. I don't want to be around people that are okay with that being that way. And that's like, if you like, look, that's not me trying to like talk shit to be like, all right, no, I mean like, because I used to be that way. Like, let me talk to you on the real note. Like, I lived my life that way. I didn't know there was better. I didn't know I was worth better. I didn't know I was capable of better. I had no concept. I believed everybody. I believed every bully I'd ever faced. I believed every trauma I'd ever heard, everything that I'd ever experienced, that I was not worth it. Not valid, not all of the things. You know the fucking story. You're in it, some of you. The frustration with self-awareness is because once I figured that part out, once I started to understand that I was worth it, I never wanted to go back. It scares me now. Part of my frustration with my health and my fitness is I show signs of being the way that I used to. And that terrifies me. I don't want to be that way again. It literally, like, it's once you can't unknow. Like, I don't want to be okay with mediocrity. I don't want to be okay with being like everybody else. I want to be the best me. I want to bring that out in people. I want the best Jill. I want to bring that out and support and hold space for that. I want that it's why I do what I do as a coach, as a trainer, as a this. I want you to know what it's like to win every day because you chose to. Instead of believing everybody else is fucking bullshit about you. That's part of being self-aware, is not believing what people say about you. Because it doesn't hold any weight anymore.
Yeah. And I think, like, wanting better for yourself also shows, like, drive and ambition and all these other traits that, like, most people want in their humans. And without, like, any self-awareness or wanting to be better, that means, like, you're good with nothing being better.
Yeah, like and I know what it's like to be in the place where, like, I want better, but I don't know how to get there. I keep trying all these things. It's like, no, you keep trying everybody else's things. Self-awareness. Like, it goes, the term means in everything. In every part of that process, it has to come from self. To be aware is to do. If you are aware of the thing, aware of a problem, and you don't do, you're just an asshole.
We don't like those.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's dangerous as a dominant to play with people that aren't self-aware. It's dangerous as a human being to exist around people who aren't self-aware. It's contagious. Take a look around you.
Mm-hmm. You probably know lots of non-self-aware people.
Unself-aware? Non-self-aware?
I don't know.
I know. That's why I said it, because I wasn't sure. That was fun. Yeah, and that, like, again, these are our personal opinions. This is just the way that this is one of my boundaries. Is I look for people that are self-aware, people that have done the work. Fucking look at Elle, like, some of my favorite humans, and rapidly, just like every story I hear about them, like, you've done tons of work to be in this place, to be able to talk about this thing. Like, I'm reminded every day of how much work they've done to be who they are. Like, I love that person. I love that inner person. Yep.
I'm sharing my second red flag.
Okay.
Because I'm, like, weirdly excited to share it because it's been something I have had to learn to look for in this life, and, like, it wasn't something I knew I would need to look for. Silly me for believing people. Crazy. I with, like,
you just no
so
contempt whatsoever.
No, this one will fire me up for a while. I think maybe forever. It might be forever.
I think so. That was good. Just you guys, maybe you feel it in your car right now. It got cold, and then hot immediately. Right? Oh, you okay? I'm going to go over here. I don't want to be close to you anymore. It's scary.
Titch of a backstory for how I learned this red flag.
Titch. I love when you use that word.
Titch. The internet gets real fired up about me using it, and I'm like, it's a word. Leave me alone.
Yeah, use the word milk in a sentence.
Okay, there's a small tangent. There's this brand of non-dairy milk
that was good
in the States that is spelt with an A, and I'm like,
milk?
I'm like, give me that. Except I use E, milk.
You do know, you get that. I can hear it.
Like,
I can hear the A in yours.
Every time I hear people say I use milk, I'm like, I need that brand because then I wouldn't be saying it wrong. What gay?
Sorry. Because I think it's Gaelic is what I wanted to say. It has the E with the backwards A. That's what I feel like yours sounds like when you say milk.
Yeah, but I saw a brand that's like milk, and I'm like, I need that because then I.
Wait, how does that sound? Did I get that right? Someone knowledge me on that one, please.
Anywho,
I'll take the embarrassment of being wrong. That'll be my pain.
Titch of a backstory. That's where I was. I
bet you people shit when I laugh that close to the mic.
Probably.
Sorry, I don't mean to do it. I'm just readjusting when she makes me laugh.
I'm going to say we because it's had to be both of us have had to navigate people coming in on my end, people telling me one
see you
thing.
every day.
People telling me one thing about why they're here, what they want. So, coming in with the intent of dating me, having a relationship with me. And then when they meet Ethan, that intent changes. And do I blame them? No. Have you seen the man? However, I do blame them for not telling me their intent has changed.
That is easily the best way that you phrased that one out. That was good. That one was good, though.
Like, we share not a secret. So, like, if you would like to be with both of us, cool. But you're gonna have to use your big
Buckle up,
girl.
by the way.
Yeah, best of luck. But you're also gonna have to use your big girl words and say that. So a red flag I've had to learn to look for, and I kind of had to put the pieces together of like, there's got to be something that's giving away that these people aren't just here for me. And through a couple experiences with that,
Phew.
it is when they are with me, going on a date with me, talking to me, and they ask more questions about Ethan than me. And it took me a while to put it together, but lots of the time it's conversations around like, well, how many partners does Ethan have? How does Ethan manage that many partners? What is Ethan looking for in this life? And looking back on it, I'm like, oh shit, you weren't actually here for me. Or else those questions would have been about me. If your intent was to date me and have a relationship with me, you should probably want to know those things about me, not about Ethan. And I will always share about both of us. You're allowed to ask questions about both of us. But like, even if you're not poly, you can probably see how that's pretty fucked up that somebody goes on a date and asks questions about a different person rather than the person they're on a date with. So my learned red flag is if people have more questions about Ethan than me,
they have ulterior motives,
but they're trying to date me.
Yeah.
Which is nice because that also, like, as much as it's a red flag, it also lets me cut it off sooner and not have to like learn the lesson of.
I like being the bait and the chopping block.
Yeah. Like, it just doesn't have to get to the point of like them being in our house to be like, oh my god, now I can be like, I'm good, see ya.
Yeah. No, and it's unfortunate, it's frustrating when it happens. As someone that's want Jill to have her people. I say this on almost every episode. I want Jill to have as many people as she chooses to love and loves her, and that love her. There we go. And so to like, I don't view my looks the way Jill does. That's fine. My argument is not there. I'm aware that there's a set of skills that I do have that comes out with the confidence that I project and I put out into this world and who I am and whatever that means. But that's like it's a possible bonus to being around Jill, to existing and loving her, is that if you voice your intention and everything's copacetic, then yeah, I might show you a cool trick or two. Like, you might get to share in those moments. It could be so many different versions of that thing. But it's not why I'm here. That's not why we do this life. It's not to feed the other one. It's not to have, it's not like, it's to be loved. It's to do life with people that want to share with us, with Jill as an individual, with me as an individual, with people that choose to love us both. Like, we talk about this like three-way relationship all the time when there's only two of us. Because there's a relationship here, there's always a relationship between someone else, me and the someone else, and then us as a whole. And all of those need fostering from everybody in there. And it's a big task sometimes, a lot of the time, all the time. So to sit and to know that that's a possibility, but then to have it backfire that way is frustrating from over here for so many fucking annoying reasons from my end. Yeah. But to see Jill have to go through it for the reason she does is equally annoying. Like, to her heart, it's like, figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, and it's like, it will always, like, first of all, shitty because I'm like, cool, you weren't actually here for me. Thanks for letting me know. But it's also like, don't be fucking dumb. You could have just said that from day one and been like, I actually like had the intent of only dating you, and now I'm like, I think Ethan's really cool too. Like, I was hoping to see if there's a vibe between the three of us. Great. Let's see if there's a vibe between the three of us. But don't say that once you're already in my house dating me.
Yeah, like, your intentions matter, and if they shift, they matter extra.
Yeah. You just gotta use your big girl words. It's not hard. There's not a lot that's off the table. But it will be if you choose to be sneaky about it.
Yeah, and to that, I'm just going to double down right back to you, though, because now you have the hard or the red flag in kink and safe kink.
Yeah, this one, like, I navigate, I would say, conversations, or have navigated conversations around kink and safe kink more with men, and I'm not currently dating men, and it's just like not a conversation that comes up a ton um when I'm dating women, and unless it's something we both share in. Um but like on the submissive end of kink, I think it will always be men, and there's probably women that think this way too, thinking that like I'm submissive, if they're dominant, they just get to like do whatever they want. And by do whatever they want, I mean like with intent to harm most of the time. Like I uh had an experience, I don't know if I've ever told you this story. Tell it on the podcast, I guess. I had an experience of like a more casual hookup, and it was like straight to like slapping, and I was like, hold on, my guy, there's no conversation, there was no like check if this is okay. And like when that happens in the moment, that's just abuse, not consent. But lots of men view it that way, of like, cool, I have a dominant personality, so I can do whatever I want, I can literally do harm, and it's fine because I'm dominant. It's not how that works. So any like, the biggest red flag will always be like not understanding that things need to be consented first. You can't just do whatever you want in this
life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a lot of red flags in this life. Yeah, is as the dominant, coming from that perspective, for me, a giant and monumental, one of my top red flags, is people who say they're into everything. The first one of two questions that I ask any possible play connection, playmate connection, relationship, is what are your hard no's? And if you can't answer that, I'm over the conversation. And there's a chance to think about it if you've never heard of a hard no. This might be your first uh, kink experience, but that's very fucking rarely the case. And people just think it's okay, much like the other side of what Jill's talking about, is think it's okay to just be into everything.
And yeah, like if you don't know what your hard no's are, you're gonna find out, and it's gonna be in the
And
moment.
the worst way. You remember the knowledge from earlier I talked about, like how much I've had to bleed and pay for? That's one of those moments. Every time, without fail, and I can speak to this from personal experience as both a professional dominant and a private dominant, is the repair work that I have to navigate, that I get to navigate, that I'm afforded the beautiful opportunity to navigate with clients and with people with connections, is the horror stories that I hear of mistreated power. I have a bone to pick with 50 Shades of Shut the Fuck Up. There's just so much. But this one in particular, as a dominant, is super dangerous for so many reasons. As a black male that is dominant, is dangerous because it's always, there needs to be boundaries to play safely. That there's no other way to play. And so if you don't know what your hard no's are, if you don't know what you don't like, at the very least, you are not, in fact, safe to play with. No, I will not be your hunt and peck because of what this lifestyle is and means. No, I will not be your science project.
Yeah, like contrary to popular belief, like we're not physically signing contracts over here that are like, I will not sue. So yeah, if you find out one of your hard no's in the moment, it's not gonna be fun for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So you better have an idea of what that is. And I think like a big thing from the other side is like those can change. Like I had, and I think we've talked about this before, but like I had hard no's the first time we dated that are no longer hard no's, but I still had ones that I was like, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one who gets to change that.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of these yeah, these holy shit, I can't believe I'm having this conversation moments a lot of times. For you remember the person I'm referring to that was like, I'm just into anything, I just want to experience everything. No, you do
You do not.
not. Like the first question that I'll say, now keep it PG, is, so you would like it if I shit on your chest? No. So you aren't, in fact, because
I was gonna say, I also think it's like a lack of knowledge of like what kinks actually can be and are. Like there are so many you've probably never thought of. So when one
it wouldn't
like,
even be a thing to you. There's no way that you would find that thing sexually anything.
but like it is a thing.
It is a
So
thing for someone, and that's a point of contention and a point of freedom in this lifestyle. We'll go with this one.
do what you want as long as it's consensual. But like
As
you
long as
gotta,
everybody consents and continues to consent with the appropriate information.
yeah. And I would say like, not everyone gets the luxury of having a safe dom like you. You still run it past me with a new idea. We talk about it.
At the very least, it's always talked about.
Yeah, and you're also great at picking up when you're like, oh, that wasn't quite the vibe today. But not everybody's like that. Mm-hmm. So if somebody like forms an idea in their little noggin and then does it without running it past you, and you decide you don't like it,
it's going to be a problem
tough.
For many reasons. It can be a problem for many reasons. The other day, little one made a comment at me that was a possessive comment in reverse. And I instinctively took offense to it as her dominant and had a moment of just about putting her on the floor. And this would have been like a moment like this is an agreed upon thing. There's been consent. There's been an appropriate agreed upon disciplinary thing that hasn't happened yet. It's a current up in the air curiosity. And in the moment, I was going to react and commit, but I hadn't committed to saying that to her yet, that I was ready to step up this level of discipline. And so in the moment, I reacted with my body internally enough that she knew I resisted doing something. And then the conversation was had right there. Like, what just happened? I was like, I was going to do so fucking fast and wild. And then I was going to make a point after that. And little one's face turned to the face of absolute approval. And why didn't you do the thing? And the pout that I get every time, I'm like, that sounds fun, but it didn't happen. So now I'm patiently waiting for this one right there. That's the one. There, that's the one. And like, so now I have confirmation. I have another version of consent outside of the already verbalized consent that we've had multiple times confirmed on. Now I've got another one, another version that further confirms they're ready for when it happens. We will navigate it safely. Even if it went wrong, even if it wasn't liked in the moment, I know that their being is ready for when that happens. We will navigate that safe. It is now safe for me to actually react in the next moment that I have the opportunity to. It also lets Jill know that it's coming.
I was going to say, it's also like a big piece on my end of like, now I know the consequence. So like, as a brat, act
make your choice. And so it's like, even in the way that Jill and I do life, every day almost there's some version of new consent. Even if it's, do you want to play? Because sometimes, a lot of times, we just get into play. Like we wrestle, all of a sudden we're naked. I don't know how it happens. Because like she brats all the time. So like sometimes it's just a part of the game. But then there's sometimes when it's like, do you want to play? Like, yeah, I would love to. Or sometimes like, no, I don't have it today. It's nice even for me as the dominant. And yes, I get to say no. Not because she asked, but for me, I get to say no. And that is a piece that is also missed by most. The safety is on you. As much as I'm great at this and I take it personally responsible to make sure that people are safe when they play, when they come in and out of this dungeon, that they leave with the experience they wanted to have. But it is unequivocally on you to make sure that you're safe before playing with somebody.
Yeah, like we've had to navigate the experience of like, Ethan can't facilitate play, can't set the scene, can't give anybody what they want if they don't say it out loud. And then it's not fun for anyone anymore. Because now everyone's uncomfy, everyone's unsure, you're wondering what's going on, I'm wondering what's going on, they didn't get what they wanted. Like, it's just like you still have to communicate and consent and lay out the ground rules and set boundaries and do the thing, or else the whole point of play being fun is no longer fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to say goodbye to you guys for now. With our aforementioned subscription, part 2 are green flags and the continuation of, why, obviously we'll get into why green flags also come into play with play. at the end there. But we have 2 other green flags we'd love to share with you guys. Tune in to hear about all 3. Join our subscription. Link below. Is it below? Link somewhere. Where's it going to be?
I think below. Everywhere. It'll also be in our bio on Instagram. Or if you can't find it, just DM us and I'll send it directly to you.
Yeah, if you would like to see and continue the conversation with us, please subscribe below. Your $5 gets you the rest of this episode, and stay tuned for the release date of our first chat. Our first coffee and cannabis conversations with Jill and Ethan on Shifting the Lens podcast. Jesus Christ, yeah. I didn't. Sometimes Tism is funny.
Thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for letting us have a place to air our rants.
For those of you that choose to come to the next part of this conversation, we abso-fucking-lutely love you. Yeah. We obviously love all of you. But like we said, the support, we appreciate and honor the fact that you're going to give us your hard-earned money. It sounds like $5 is nothing, but it matters to us that we get to have this conversation and continue it with you guys. So share this, share the link, have the conversation, and get ready to have a fucking fun conversation with us in a couple coming weeks. We promise we won't rank you based on if you subscribe or not. No, we just love you all. It's equal love over here. No hierarchical podcast love. I had to throw. That's all I was saying. No, that was so good. I'm glad you said it. You won't get ranked, I promise. I'm so glad you said it. But yeah, we love you. We appreciate you. You can find us at Shifting Lens Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, as always. YouTube, also that. You can find me at Coach.April. You can find Ethan at... Fight me on this. Sorry, I was going to say Pity the Fool Fitness. I literally went to say Pity the Fool Fitness. Holy shit, Jesus Christ. We'll catch you guys in part 2 or next week. Either. See you guys soon. Love you guys.